My research goal is to use both humans and instruments to analyze the sensory properties of foods and materials. Why stevia? There are a lot of other zero-calorie sweeteners out there, but stevia is a natural sweetener. Our team is trying to develop a sustainable stevia industry in the US. So my current research with stevia is funded through the USDA Specialty Crop Research Initiative. So the stevia leaves have the sweet compounds called stevioglycosides. So the most abundant stevioglycosides is riboside A, or we call it Rep-A. This is the most widely found in the current market. However, the Rep-A is often associated with a strong bitter aftertaste. So what we are trying to do here is that we want to see if there are other stevioglycosides in the leaves would make the foods taste right. I am Sung-In Cho, a sensory scientist in the food science program in the poultry science department. We do a lot of research in the sensory field. So for the sensory work, we need to use human panels, but also we need to use some instruments. So this electronic tongue works just like the human tongue. So these sensors will detect the taste molecules in these solutions.
So right now we have 3 different types of sweetener, but it's like all from stevia. However, the major stevioglycoside, it provides some bitter aftertaste. That's why we are also looking for the other type that provides less bitter aftertaste. The one that provides less bitter aftertaste, it costs a lot more, and the one that provides more bitter aftertaste, it is more economically attractive to the food industry. Therefore, with our project, we wanted to combine a mixture so that it could reduce the cost of productions in these stevia powder. So that's why we have a different mixture of those. And then we wanted to see if E-Tongue can group them or discriminate them or not. If they can group them, then that could mean that these mixtures have a similar taste profile to the anchor that we are looking for.
So sensory evaluation uses human because we need to know how consumers perceive the food product. However, there are some challenges with the sensory testing. We want to have some instruments to replace human panel in certain cases. For example, if we have a lot of samples, like hundreds of different samples to be analyzed, then we cannot really take the humans to take all 100 samples in a day, but the instruments can do the work, or the instruments can screen the samples, then reduce the number of samples for the human panel. So now, as you can see, the sensors are in the liquid samples. So now these sensors are trying to detect the taste molecules in this solution. So send the signals to this, and this will give the whole thing to the software in the computer, and this computer software will analyze those signals, and they will put these different samples on a taste map. So my lab also has electronic nose. And the electronic nose, again, you can imagine that this mimics the human nose. So when we have the food samples in this vial, this will go into the incubation chamber. At certain temperature, it agitates so that all the volatiles emitted from this sample. And here this part has a needle, and that will poke the vial, then collect all the volatiles and do the analysis. When you smell, that means that the volatiles reach to your nostrils. By analyzing these volatiles, we can determine the aroma quality of food products. So this is our research kitchen in the Department of Poultry Science. We use this space for research and also class. So here my students are working to develop the zero sugar added food product. So there are a lot of zero calorie sodas out there, but why we're working on the soda product? Because we want to see the difference between the major and the minor stevia glycosides in the commonly used food applications.
So basically what we're doing is we're trying to recreate Coca-Cola, but with stevia products. It's natural and it's sugar-free, so that's nice. It took several weeks of playing around with the fresh fruit first to try to get somewhere at least close. So then once we had the exact taste that we were going for, we switched over to extracts so that we could make, many times over the same exact thing. It does taste like Coke. I actually prefer it to Coke. It tastes a lot fresher. As one could imagine, we're using a lot of fresh extracts, so it's pretty good.
If you bake at home, you will know that how much sugar you have to put it in your baked mix. So we want to also produce some of these healthier version of the bakery items.
So we're working on converting stevia into breaded items. So I chose to do some pound cakes because they're pretty commonly found on most desserts. So it's something that Americans are pretty familiar with. So when we go into our sensory testing, there won't be this unfamiliarity gap between them.
So Reed has these different stevia glycosides in the pound cake application. We'll invite the consumer panel and make them to taste and ask them how much they like it. So whenever we have the consumer panel, the other side, we just pass this through the door. Then the panel receive that whole plate and he or she will start tasting the samples.
So it's going to be, for this study, we're going to be looking at blind versus informed consumer testing. So half the participants are going to get a little pamphlet all about stevia, its naturalness. Hey, this isn't, aspartame, this isn't a sulfide K, this is actually from a plant. And the other half aren't going to know that. They're just going to know it's pound cake. So we want to know what their liking scores are going to be, whether or not you actually know if this is sugar or not.
So this is the sensory booth area. So you saw the kitchen and we slide through the samples and the panels will receive the plate. So it has the samples to taste. So this space is for the research and also working with the food industry. So when I work with the food companies, they specifically want to know how much the consumer panel like the product. So we invite people here and we do the consumer testing here. So this would guide food industry to produce better tasting healthy products, and also consumers, they can enjoy the healthy products which don't compromise on taste. In addition to that, using the factors that affect the consumer perception, I would like to help consumers change their eating behavior in a healthier way.